you are seeking an amendment to a private member's bill to amend portions of the Labor Act.
Correct.
To give women more time to spend with their babies.
Exactly.
The issue is that we all live in this country, and there are countless stories of women who got pregnant, and sometimes they are sacked. I mean, people have lost their jobs because they got pregnant.
That's correct.
Or people have lost their job because they got married, and the bosses felt that they will get pregnant soon, and for that reason, it will affect their productivity, and so they are laid off. Wouldn't this embolden such, employers to act in a manner that may not be consistent with the provisions of the law?
Well, I think that we must rather open up that conversation. No employer has a right to terminate the appointment of another only because she's pregnant.
They may not do it officially. They may use other means to have them fired.
I agree. But I think that we must fish out every employer who does that. Every lady who is sacked on account of getting married or on account of getting pregnant must have the boldness to challenge those decisions. That's why we have institutions like SHRAJ, Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Obviously, that process of either compelling you to resign or using all kinds of ways to frustrate you so you will just leave the employment can amount to, an inducement to quit your job. And it will be an administrative injustice to those women. And I think we all have a duty to protect our women in this space. This has given me even a new idea, because then we will seek, as part of the amendment, when we go to the stakeholder, and that's why we will be inviting all of you, as part of the amendment, to even criminalize conduct of people who would try to induce women to quit their job only because they became pregnant. In the first place, who got the women pregnant? And is it their fault that they are pregnant? How do we sustain our society, the sustainable development goals? How do we keep them going? How do we ensure intergenerational equity by way of utilizing our resources today to ensure that the future generation would also be able to use? We can only do that through procreation. And procreation is a natural consequence of marriage, and so long as we keep marrying, we'll continue to give birth. And so the advocacy must rather be to give a voice to the women, to strengthen them, to stand for their rights when it comes to their reproductive health.
Yeah, because in some other jurisdictions, laws protect women a lot and children. Is it your expectation that this, if finally passed by Parliament, will give women some protection, especially in the area of childbirth?
Absolutely.
And nursing?
Absolutely. In fact, when you look at the mischief that we seek to cure, was what exactly you mentioned. There are many women who are suffering when they do not need to suffer. And they are suffering for natural consequences. In fact, it was part of the policy consideration of that tax on parts as well. Because why should somebody, be discriminated against just because she's a woman? Just because, she didn't create a condition. The fragile nature of women when they become pregnant, remember how they go through the pain they go through for the 9 months before they deliver. A woman goes through hormonal changes, biological changes within 9 months. And when he delivers, you want them hormonal changes to correct within 3 months. That is not possible. So I think that we should be able to embolden our women, and the men would have to get involved, because historically, our society has been structured in ways that even though women are more, men occupy major positions of power, of influence. And so when decisions are being taken, people are taking those decisions from a man's perspective. So what if we terminate the job? Who will terminate the job? Is the man. Is the man CEO? Is the man who is the one complaining? So I think that we should be able to stand for our women, fight for them, and stand with them.
So after the first reading and the referral is done, you hope to open it up to public discourse?
Further public discourse.
Where you hope to receive petitions,
absolutely,
and memos,
further memos. And so if you are out there, you are, female, gender activist, you are a female activist, you are a woman, you are a queen mother, you are whatever role you play, whatever space you have, this is the time for us to rally together to push this amendment. Now remember that in the quest to fight for free, fair, and just society, it doesn't just happen. Activism is so important. If you don't let your voice count, nobody will count your voice. So we need everyone to get out there and make the voice of women count on this matter.
Finally, briefly on the sanitary pad issue.
Well, so the sanitary pad, you recall that it was in September last year when I introduced a bill to take out taxes on sanitary pads. And the bill at the time sought to do 4 things. One, to take away the 15% VAT on locally manufactured parts, to take away the 15% VAT on imported parts, take away the 15% tax on raw materials used for manufacturing of locally manufactured, used to manufacture local parts.
Right.
And then the last one was to reclassify parts. Because currently parts are classified as luxury products. And that's why taxes are imposed on them. So we seek to reclassify those parts. Now, government in the 2024 budget responded to 2 of the needs. One of them was to remove the 15% VAT on locally manufactured parts. And then the second one was to remove the 15% VAT on imported raw materials for manufacturing parts in Ghana. Now, the 2 left is the imported VAT on finished products and then the reclassification. So that is what we are pushing. So this is going to be part of the stakeholder engagement next week when we meet.
Honorable, thank you very much. We were waiting to see the bill go through first reading, and then when the public discourse is open, all of us can contribute to fine-tune it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.